Hard.
As you said.
No, it's hard.
Third time. Let's get into it. Let's ask this to Dan Orlovsky. He joins us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Spent 12 years in the NFL. Pennzoil synthetic motor oils made from natural gas gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof's in the Pennzoil based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30. And once again, keep those tweets coming. Whatever team you think could challenge the Chiefs the most, the one they don't want to face at Key J and Z. You can call us at 888-SAY-ESPN as well. All right. So, Dan, here we go. Week 5, a 40-32 win for the Raiders at Arrowhead. Last night, a 35-31 loss. As Matty_Burke said, 2 tight ones. What do the Raiders do, or what do the Raiders have going against the Chiefs that seemingly this year the rest of the league doesn't?
I mean, the Chiefs are the only team in the NFL that there's a very specific formula on how to beat them. And you've got to be perfect when how you execute it. Like, you got to be able to be explosive on offense. The Raiders can do that. You have third quarter yesterday. Raiders go on that massive long drive. And then your quarterback has got to play lights out above the X's and O's football. And Derek Carr really did that. And so, like, there's this formula of how to beat Kansas City. And the Raiders are probably as equipped of a football team in the NFL to do it. But here's the thing, Z. Like, you guys asked the question, you know, what team do the Chiefs not want to play the most? That doesn't matter. Like, this the Chiefs. They don't care who they play. I think the Raiders are very well equipped. It doesn't matter. Game, Derek Carr was flawless. I mean, Derek Carr was absolutely perfect. And it still wasn't enough. Like, and it still wasn't enough. And I said this a couple weeks ago. I think the Bills are the most equipped team to do it because they can be explosive. They can own the clock. They got a quarterback that can go above the X's and O's and make kind of those creative broken plays. The Raiders are certainly up there, but like, that's nice, the perfect example. You could play your A game and operate your plan perfectly, and it still won't be good enough against Kansas City.
Dan, I clearly rolled my eyes when you mentioned the Bills, but that's between me and you. Let me ask you this. As a quarterback took this job as the Raiders coach, that Derek Carr is on his way out, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
That has all changed, obviously, now, especially with the way Derek and John has been dialing things up and Derek's been playing. Why has it changed so much?
Yeah, Keith, just so you know, I rolled my eyes last week when you said the Patriots are going to make the playoffs, too.
Yeah,
so.
And I rolled my eyes yesterday when I realized they were not going to make the playoffs.
Listen, I think that what happened with the Raiders and Gruden and Carr with this offense is, you know, for that 2 or 3 year stretch, Derek Carr was, you know, playing okay football, and everyone was like, oh, Derek Carr can't play anymore. And there was some people, I was one of them, who was like, they just need to get people around them that are better. They just had to have a really good offense. And to have your quarterback to play well, you got to really have 3 things. You got to have a great scheme. And Greg Olsen and John Gruden have really brought this kind of old school West Coast philosophy with the new age offense of motion and formationing and matchups to the Raiders. So they got a great scheme. 2, they got really, really, really good players. And it's not just that they've got really good players. They've got like very situationally perfect players. Renfro is great in the middle field on third down. Waller's a matchup problem. Aguilar has become a good one-on-one matchup. Ruggs has got big-time speed. So they got players around him. And then you got to be able to call that scheme really well. And Greg Olsen and John Gruden do. In addition, offensive line is good. They gave him a ton of freedom at the line of scrimmage last night. I don't know if everyone heard. I'm hoping they did. Like, you heard the Mamba Georgia, the Mullen, Nike Mullen stuff. Like, that is him controlling things at the line of scrimmage because they're allowing his kind of intelligence to help that offense operate. And he's become aggressive. That was the thing that was also missing over the past couple of years is he just wasn't aggressive with the football, probably because they didn't have people to do it. And so, you know, you've got those 3 variables now with a quarterback that's super confident. Their offense, this is the best third down offense in the NFL, one of the most efficient. So I'm not surprised that Derek Carr is playing well.
Dan, let's talk about the Dolphins versus the Broncos. Tua, after getting sacked 6 times, got benched. Brian Flores already said that he will be the starter next week, but obviously Fitzpatrick came in down the wire. Do you agree with the way that Flores and the Dolphins handled that situation?
No, I do not. If you started Tua at quarterback and thought everything was going to be, you know, utopia, you're kidding yourself. This is quarterback in the NFL. So I'm disappointed that they pulled him in the first moment of, like, resistance. I'm disappointed in that because did you not think he's good enough? Like, do you not think he's good enough to pull you back in that football game when you're down 10? You know, every quarterback has 2 3-quarter stretches where they don't play good enough. So I was disappointed that the first time that Tua saw struggle, they pulled him. That being said, I think Brian Flores over the last 18 months has earned the right for me to go, I trust that his decision-making is what's best for his football team in ways that I can't see, because I'm not attached to the team, obviously. Like, naturally, my emotion is going, what are you doing? You can't do this to Tua. And he'll understand what that team needs in that moment. And the offensive line was getting whooped, and Tua wasn't just seeing things well, feeling the game well. And down 10, maybe he's sitting there going, I think that Tua is our best player, but in this moment, Ryan Fitzpatrick is the best option. And it didn't work out. And like I said, I was disappointed with that, but I think Brian Flores has earned the right to make that choice, and for me not to sit here and say that was stupid on his part.
Well, I'm going to hit you with this one. I think you know what's coming. Your boy Carson Wentz, 2 more picks, a pick 6. Ouch. Is it time to move on from him, Dan? Come on, be honest with us.
I gotta go, guys. That's the end of my day. Key, no, it's not time to move on. I think that here's the point I'm at with Carson Wentz and the Eagles. This is the 3rd game this year where if Carson Wentz was playing above average football, good football, and Doug Peterson was playing or coaching at above average pace, the Eagles win the game strictly because those 2 guys. And this year they're 0-3 in those situations. And that's the most disturbing moment. And I'll keep going back to this. I saw you do this last year. I saw you elevate your football team last year. And the first pick 6, does he miss a read? Potentially, sure. Missed reads don't necessarily have to equal pick 6s. The second interception is 100% on Alshon Jeffrey. But I want Carson Wentz. It's really difficult for me to sit here and go, don't go to Jalen Hurts. Because at the end of the day, the football team is being hurt by the play of the quarterback. And Doug Peterson, I think it's going to be very difficult for him to constantly stand up in front of his football team and go, this is our best option. Because you can't tell your team, as long as we stop turning the ball over, we'll give ourselves the best chance to win, but continue to play Carson when he continues to turn the ball over. That's the situation that they're in. So,
Dan, let me ask you this. You said the second one was on Alshon. What did Alshon do that was wrong?
He mistimes his jump, right? That ball's in the air and he floats.
I shouldn't have to jump.
What? He's giving him an opportunity ball, Key. He's throwing him to...
It's an out, not a jump ball.
Right, but no, that's not an out. No, but Key, he's getting that seam inside release. He's trying to club Ward by, and it's an out route that he's just trying to throw to a spot with some air because he's 6'4".
Throw it at the pylon.
He does.
He threw it to the back of the end zone. Throw it at the front pylon. So either I don't catch it or it goes in the second row.
Key, he throws it to the front pylon with air.
That's not the throw we're looking for.
What are you looking for?
I need it downhill at the front pylon so I can come out of it.
Listen, again, if maybe the type of throw isn't the ideal throw, but it shouldn't be an interception. Alshon, if he times his jump there, is going up and just making a contested 3-yard catch.
First of all, back to your point, I wouldn't have had Alshon running that route anyway. Too
Correct.
slow in and out of his cuts.
I agree.
So I wouldn't have even had him running
But this is the point, Key, as well. The disconnect between the plays that are being called and then the execution of plays is so vast in Philadelphia. I said this last week. It took till the 3rd quarter to get Carson Wentz out of the pocket. Yesterday, it took to the 4th. It took to the 4th quarter to get Carson Wentz out of the pocket. I watched Green Bay yesterday afternoon go 5 straight passes and do it with Aaron Rodgers, who's 38 years old. Yeah. And so there's a massive disconnect in Philadelphia between play calling and then quarterback play. But at the end of the day, Doug Peterson is too accomplished and paid too much money. Carson Wentz is too accomplished and paid too much money to have 3 games this year when all they had to do was be better than their opponent at that spots and they win, and to be 0-3. And right now, they're going to lose the division because of it. Unless it changes, they're going to lose the division because the quarterback and coach aren't good enough.
Dio, what did you take away yesterday from the Colts and the Packers game? Are the Colts for real? Can they do it behind Phillip Rivers?
Yeah, there's no question the Colts are for real. I think that, Phillip Rivers, the first month of the season, really struggled. And yesterday, you saw the reason why Phillip Rivers was brought in. They win that game because Phillip Rivers' toughness and then his experience. He got hot in the second half. Hot. And started making throws that, when the ball leaves his hand, you're going, uh-oh, where's that thing going? And it's just thrown to the absolutely perfect spot. And I'd say this, too. We need to start putting Frank Reich's name into the conversation of Coach of the Year. Like, Frank Reich was a difference yesterday in that football game. Down 28-14, the way that he kind of committed to running ball in the second half and just stayed with a steady hand and got that team into such good situations. I think that Matt Eberflus, their defensive coordinator, is going to be on the short list for head coaching jobs with the adjustments that they made. Their adjustments, that 3rd down and 1 that they make, that he throws the slant to Devontae Adams. This pressure right here, that is so good by Eberflus. He gets Darius Leonard unblocked, and he made David Bakhtiari, the left tackle for the Packers, he blocks nobody. He makes the best player on that offense block nobody. And then this 4th and 1, like, that is teach tape right here by Okriki at linebacker. The way that he doesn't get picked and he undercuts. Look at him undercut Williams. Like that, you guys, the key, you notice, that's forcing an absolutely perfect throw. That tells me you're a really well-coached football team. So the difference was the Colts coaching.